Good evening, everybody. It's Clutch here from the Sodak Motorcycle Blog. And well, you're watching this now in May, so it's time, and it's the first Thursday, so it's time for another monthly edition of Comments and Beer. So, Comments and Beer, if you haven't been here before, that's our monthly comment show where we go over YouTube comments. I feature a local craft brew. Lately, I've been throwing in a thought right at the start, and that's what we do. So, first of all, before I get going on this Comments and Beer, if you have a comment out there and you're thinking, hey, you know what, I don't want to have to wait a month for this comment, well, I have a way to solve your problem. We're currently offering memberships for $2.99 a month. So for $2.99 a month, you get priority reply to your comments right on the video, as in I'll reply to them on the video. You don't have to wait for Comments and Beer. You also get the videos when I put them up to the website. So usually by about the Tuesday before the video, you get the video earlier. So that's always cool. You get a nice little cool marker by your name when you're commenting, just basically the Sodak Motorcycle Blog logo. So that's what we got. So it's $2.99 a month. It's a little small price to pay, but you know what? It helps out the blog and helps maybe produce better videos as we go along. But anyways, enough about that. So this is Comments and Beer, and yes, we're going to get to comments here in a bit, but let's first meet our beer of the night. So I was thinking about this today. So I screwed up today when I went down to Rapid City and I left my growler at home and didn't have one. So I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to go to the liquor store. Well, when I was at the liquor store, it kind of hit me that, you know what? I've hit all the Black Hills beers, probably. I'd say, well, not all the beers, but I've hit all the breweries in Black Hills. I've hit some twice. So I thought, you know, and as I'm looking at it, well, they're looking at me, is this Fernson Shy Giant. It's kind of getting washed out a little bit by my light, but it's called Shy Giant IPA. And once again, it is from Fernson Brewing Company, which is actually based out of Sioux Falls. And like I said, as I was sitting there looking at it, I'm thinking, well, why don't I do just a Sioux Falls beer? So, because they have a decent craft brewing scene over there in Sioux Falls as well. They're also within the state. I am called the Sodak Motorcycle Blog, not the Black Hills Motorcycle Blog, so I think we can expand the borders a little bit. So, that's what we got. We got a Shy Giant IPA from Fernson Brewing Company in Sioux Falls. And I'm going to read you the quote right off their website here. So, at 7% ABV and 55 IBUs, it's a big beer. Their words. It's brewed with a healthy dose of Belma and Mosaic hops and dry hop with Mosaic and Citra hops, all that cool hoppy crap, I guess. It sounds like a giant, and it is, but it's a giant with a lighter side. Grapefruit and citrus flavors create a beautiful nose, followed by a balance of hop character and maltiness. This is a beer that doesn't need to beat its chest to prove how strong it is. Okay. Although you're kind of bragging about it. But anyways, this is a beer that understands bigness without balance will only make you stumble. Sometimes it's a shy giant who stands the tallest. So some stats, once again, ABV 7%, IBU 55. The dry hops are Mosaic and Citra, and the hop variety is Mosaic and Belma. The malt variety is two-row, Vienna, oats, and acidulated, and availability year-round. So there you go. I always enjoy reading the beer ads or the beer descriptions on some of these. Although I will say this, at least with craft beers, there's something to them. Which, by the way, this is a pretty delicious one. It's usually when I'm there in Sioux Falls at their tasting room, or at their tasting. Well, it's not the brewery. The brewery is actually north of town, but on Phillips Avenue, which is the main drag through downtown Sioux Falls. It's right there on Phillips Avenue, and usually when I'm there, that's usually what I reach for, is a Shy Giant. And then I check to see if I have a ride back to where I came from or not, and then I have 2 or 3 or 4 Shy Giants, which at 7%, well, it kind of adds up quickly. But anyways, yeah, that's Shy Giant. Oh, like I was talking about, let's get back to the fine descriptions. At least craft brews, when they say it, you can taste it in there if you kind of taste hard enough. I've probably told this story before, but real quick story. This was back in my days where I didn't really, wasn't really into craft beer. Like, I thought Budweiser was great. Yes, I did. We went to the Budweiser brewery in Fort Collins, Colorado, and they have you taste the beer at the end. They have like 2-day-old Budweiser basically out of the tap. And I remember, you know, you'd have all these people and they're like, well, what do you think of the beer? And they'd come up with these words like crisp, refreshing, blah, 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 you know, like whatever. And I'm like, what do you think? I'm like, it's a good beer, which here's the thing. If you have a beer that comes out of the tap that's 2 days fresh and been cold the whole time, it's going to probably taste pretty damn good because it's only 2 days old. So I'm like, it's a good beer. And of course, you know, the cultured people there were like, oh, haha, you know, Young Buck doesn't understand, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it's Budweiser, guys. Like, come on. Like, it's funny, I think of that now 22 years later. I'm like, it's Budweiser. It was Budweiser, guys. Like, it's nothing really special. And so, anyways, that's my little meandering for a story on the beer. So, all right. This is normally a time of the show where I give you my thought on something. Well, I don't really have a thought this week. And if you were here last week, obviously we didn't get a video out last week. We got a little update, but not really a video last week. And it's this damn, this carport project it's been kind of a pain. It's been time consuming, been a lot of stuff going on. The other issue is, you know, I'm trying to get all this stuff done. Well, I'm working against two things. So I'm working against kind of a deadline of about mid-May, which we're coming up on that. And also it's spring in South Dakota, which tends to be, well, a little bit of a crapshoot with the weather. And, well, if I could get, you know, a couple weekends straight where the weather is nice, this thing be done, ready to go, and waiting for the carport. Unfortunately, well, as you'd expect in this area this time of year, Mother Nature has reared her ugly head several times. We did the shed turn, and that was great. And then the next day, it snowed. It kind of snowed the next day, and then no, it didn't snow the next day, but it got wet and cold the next Monday. And then the next weekend, I had to. What did I do that weekend? The next weekend, I had to go to drill, so I had guard drill. And then the weekend after that, well, we dealt with. Well, actually, we had one good day. So Saturday was a beautiful day. We got a lot of stuff done. Sunday, it was basically, well, we got some stuff done on Sunday, not as much as I wanted to. Monday, it was raining and cold. And then another week. And then, you know, it's just been, we've been dealing with these issues. Well, finally this week, we got the border done last weekend. We got to the point, got the sod cut on Monday, got most of the sod out of there, got that hauled out on Monday, and then, well, on Thursday, it decided to drop 90 hundredths of rain on us. So pretty much today was out, and I pretty much couldn't do anything today. Hopefully we get some more done tomorrow, which tomorrow is April 27th. Hopefully we get some done tomorrow. Because on Monday, we're supposed to get probably another 1/2 inch to 3/4 of inch of rain. So it's going to be another, you know, mud pit out there. So the weather's kind of starting to really kind of give us a hard time right now. And unfortunately, I had to stop the shed once. They wanted to put it up next week, and it's like, or the carport next week, and it's like, no, we're not even close to ready. Hopefully I can get a good amount done tomorrow. Hopefully I can get the board. Hopefully I can get the whole thing ready for gravel tomorrow. If we can do that, then we could probably dump it's gonna take probably 2 truckloads of gravel. You know, hopefully we can get our first load dumped, maybe not this Monday, but maybe the next Monday. That would be great. And then hopefully we could have the second load hopefully dumped about maybe next Friday or Saturday morning even. And then if we get all that done, get the packer rented on Monday. Maybe if we're lucky, we'll be ready by about the 13th, 14th. Of course, here's the problem with all that. Because of all that, a lot of that free time, a lot of that time where I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go shoot a video for this, or I'm going to do a video for that, or this. Well, it's not happening. So we're kind of stuck on I unfortunately don't have a lot of content, and I haven't been able to make any content either. So it's been a pain. So I apologize for my lack of getting things out. And I'll be honest with you, it's probably going to be like that for probably another couple weeks. Hopefully we get to about mid-May, we get this kind of settled out, we can start kind of doing what we normally would be doing again, getting some rides out there, talking about some motorcycle topics again, things like that. But like I said, right now we're just in that purgatory right now. It just what it is. So like I said, once again, I apologize. For those of you who have stuck around through this, I very much appreciate it, for sure. And, I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to, for those of you who have stuck around this whole time, I'm going to, I appreciate you sticking around, for sure, because, this hasn't been the greatest thing to watch lately, but is what it is, and we're going to keep trying to get better. So now that ramble's over, we're going to go to comments. Well, and here's the thing with the comments. We have one comment this week, and that's it. So it's been kind of a slow month for everybody. And like I said, I haven't had anything really great to comment on, so is what it is. But anyways, our first and only comment this week is from Janocat, or Django Cat, and this is from Something New, Sturgis Rally Demos. That was the one where we did the Spider Sea to Sky, or yeah, whatever it is, Sea to Sky, yeah, whatever. I can never remember it. So there you go. I gave the Spider crowd something to yell at me about again. They're very vocal. They're a vocal bunch, the Spider crowd is. But anyways, that's not the point of the story. This is a different story. So Django Cat asked, how did they accept you at Sturgis on this? Did you get razzed a lot, or were they cool with it? So here's the thing. I'm going to say this. I don't care who you are. If you're on a Spider, you're gonna get razzed a little bit by, I don't care what spot you're at in the world. I don't care if it's at Sturgis, if it's a bike night in Memphis, Tennessee, or a bike night in Denver, Colorado, or or it's the Republic. Rally anywhere. On a Spider, you're gonna get some crap. You're just gonna get it. And they got a point. We've all seen the meme that's got the crying lady, and he said he was a biker and he pulled up on a Spider wearing a Sons of Anarchy vest, or Sons of Anarchy sweatshirt. Stuff like that. So we've all seen the memes and all that, and that's just part of being in the motorcycle community. And I would know, because I ride a Goldwing, and if you ride a Goldwing, it's kind of the same deal. You're gonna get a hard time. That's just kind of the way it is. But now, I will separate this from it. You're gonna get a hard time. You're gonna get some gruff. People are gonna, is what it is. Are people gonna be violent towards you? Are they going to, go and destroy the bike? Are they gonna go slash the tire? Are they gonna be like, you can't have that here? Probably not. They're gonna give you a hard time. But for the most part, it just is what it is, like, you get a hard time on the Spider and be like, well, good luck balancing your bike, old peepaw. Find the oldest guy there, or just give him that hard time or something like that. So, it is what it is. You're just going to get razzed. That's kind of part of the deal. It's part of the territory. But for the most part, though, especially in Sturgis, they can razz all day. But here's the thing. It's getting more and more popular. You're seeing more and more of them. The crew that was there helping at where they were set up this year, it's pretty much the same people that always kind of help there every single year. Maybe not those tents, but they, there's the overall staff that's there, and they all pretty much said the same thing of, looking at Lozelle, and, they've been coming for, most of them been helping out there 5 to 10 years, and they said as the years have gone by and the 5 years they've kind of been around that area, they see more and more of them every single year. And I think that's just akin to, well, you have an older demographic. And let's be honest, it is kind of nice to be on something you ain't got to worry about balancing in a light. Something that you can just, you can just speed up, slow down, you can stop, you can sit there, you don't have to worry about putting your feet out or nothing. You just keep your foot on the boards and you're good to go. There's definitely some value to that for sure. Definitely. Now, am I going and buying a new Spider tomorrow? Probably not. It's probably going to be quite a while before I get there, but let's be honest. Father Time is undefeated, and, well, we're all going to get to that point someday where we're going to need to either decide, hey, are we A, going to quit riding, or B, are we going to find another alternative? As far as I'm concerned, I want to find an alternative. For me, the Spider is kind of a perfect alternative for me, and the reasons why is because, well, it's a purpose-built machine. It's purpose-built to be that way. You can get that Sea to Sky all in, it's like $32,000 to $34,000. Whereas, okay, so you buy a brand new, for example, buy a brand new Goldwing. There's $30,000 to $32,000 right there. Oh, and you need to buy the trike kit, and trike kits are expensive. You're looking for, anywhere from, 5 or 6 for the little Voyager kits, which I'm sorry, I'm not going to do a Voyager kit. Like, those are a little crazy. So with what I would want to do, which would be the full legit kit, we're probably looking at that 8 to 12 grand range. So now you've just added 8 to 12 grand in addition to make your bike a trike. That's why I'm kind of more apt to go towards the Spider. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. So take that opinion with what you will. But, well, anyways, yeah, that's it for the comments. So a quick, easy comments this week. So I'd like to thank you for stopping by the Sodak Motorcycle Blog. Once again, I am Clutch. We make weekly motorcycle videos, and we talk about pretty much everything Black Hills and motorcycles in South Dakota, and sometimes we dabble in a little bit of what's going on, like right now. A lot more of it's been what's going on in my life. But anyways, like I said, we try to get out weekly videos every week. We at least drop something at 7 o'clock Mountain Time on Thursday. So if you're wondering what Mountain Time is, just figure out what Denver time is. We're on the same time as Denver. So if it's 7 o'clock in Denver on Thursday night, well, the Sodak Motorcycle Blog has just dropped a video or an update or something. But anyways, I appreciate you stopping by. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. Please leave a comment because, well, it's kind of one of the things that keeps this show going. And other than that, I'd like to thank you for stopping by. Once again, for the Sodak Motorcycle Blog, I'm Clutch, and we'll see you later.